Okay, the Curve Tri version 2. Got the neck on, and it's time to fit the bridge and figure out the clearance for the swing bar. Okay, it's not looking bad actually. The bridge is on the post. It's now in the full pull-up position actually. So if you had pulled all the way up on the whammy bar as far as it would go, the bridge would bottom out here basically. And as you can see, we've got a fair amount of the trim block is decidedly lower than a piece of 3/4 ply is thick, so there should be plenty of clearance there, no problem, if we just have like a piece of 3/4 ply for a spacer block back here. Okay, fished up a little block of plywood there of the same thickness, and as you can see, it's not going to be an issue, I don't think. There's plenty of daylight there, and that's pretty much, as close as that trim block is going to get to the bar. So now this bar might not actually be long enough. This is the strap bar from the V bars off of this guitar, but it might not be long enough. I might have to cut a new bar for it. But yeah, as far as the spacers go, that's going to work. The only other concern I have is that because of the fact that this arm is further back towards the back of the guitar, when you've got the thing up in playing position here like this, what's going to happen is, since this is further back, when it's resting on your leg, it's going to make the guitar want to tilt that way more. If it was, if this bar was actually on the same plane as the body of the guitar, then it would naturally want to tilt slightly towards the player. And then the further back you move the bar in relation to the body, the more the tendency of the guitar is to tilt away from the player, which is not ergonomic. So that's a bit of a concern, but I don't really know how to find out if it's going to be an issue until I try it. So I guess all I can do is about the best I can do is get a bunch of pieces of wood and masking tape and mock it up, and then see how it feels and how it balances out, and then go from there. So I guess that's going to be the next step. And I also have to figure out, the exact angles that this thing's going to have to go at, how long it's going to have to be, and stuff like that. So that's the next step. I guess I'll start by taking this little bit here, and maybe I'll use the super glue and masking tape trick or something and mount it there temporarily, or they'll just tape it on or something. And then take the bar and set it at the right angle, find another little block, and get it at 25 degrees or whatever, and set it in there. And then pick it up, see how it feels, and see how it balances. Make sure that bar is at the right position in order to get the bridge in the right position in relation to your leg when it's at playing angles. So yeah, I think that'll be the approach. I'm hoping that eventually, once I build enough of these things, I'll be able to come up with a good rule of thumb of the pivot point needs to be this far below the saddle line at the center line of the guitar, or whatever. Like on an X12 with the Steinbergers, they go over on this side. But or is it this side? I guess it's this side. But yeah, I'm hoping eventually once I build enough of these, I can find a pattern where it's like it automatically needs to go there and wherever in relation to the bridge. So, yeah, let me go ahead and start mocking up some stuff here. Okay, I marked out where the saddle line and the center line should be. So that right there would be more or less the middle of the bridge saddles. And I came down 25 degrees, and that makes this point right here at the edge of the body more or less where you want the center of the leg cut out to be, which means that this bar is going to come down this kind of way at 25 degrees. Kind of, let's see, yeah, kind of like that. And then it's a matter of you either raise it up or something. And I was like, well, I got a few guitars now that have these swing bars. I've got guitar number 3, and I've got the X6 and the X11 and the X12 and the Oriental all have swing bars now. So I thought it might be a good idea to maybe take a look at some of the other ones and see how far, because I was thinking like, well, if that's going to be there, and this has to be, and this is mounted at the center line, then I'm looking at a bar that's like, and that's got to be at, at 25, so that would put it someplace way back here, which is, it might be long enough, it might not. So I was like, well, let me look at some of the other guitars. So first one I decided to look at was the other Floyd Rose minimalist one, which is right here. And yeah, this is what I did for guitar number 3. Since it didn't have this part of the body to help support your leg, remember, that's where you want the center of the leg cut out. So since it didn't have this part of the leg cut out already with the body shape, this bar was added to provide that. And then the swing bar is mounted at the lower left corner, kind of like on an X12, instead of being mounted in the center. And that way you get around, this stuff swings, this portion of the bar swings over top of the trim springs. This one still needs the trim to be put on it. And I'm going to use this screw hole when you've got it up here and over there. So I think I'm going to be doing the same kind of thing on this one maybe. But what I'll do is, if you look at this one, the pivot point and also the actual center of the leg cutout area is right at the posts, more or less. And so that puts it more or less right at the saddle line. So that's going to actually put the bridge kind of over to the right hand side of the leg, which is, it's going to shift it over to the right a little bit, an inch, or, well, it's going to shift it over this far, about 1.5 inches maybe. Yeah, and don't really want to do that, I don't think. It's going to be, it would make it closer to a traditional guitar as far as the left-right orientation compared to the player and the leg cutout goes. But for palm muting and such, I think I'm favoring the shifted left slightly for the leg cutout. So the whole guitar is shifted to left a couple inches compared to a traditional, Strat or Tele or whatever, Gibson, you name it, PRS. They're all more or less the same shape, or the same dimensions when it comes to where the leg cutout is in relation to the bridge and stuff. So, and the pickups and where the neck and the scale, where the active section, the relation of the leg cutout to the active section of the strings between the nut and the bridge. Because if you think about it, the instrument that you're really interested in is the active section of the strings, and the leg cutout more or less determines where that stick with wires, or section of stick with wires, is both height-wise and left to right in relation to your body when you're playing, seated. So, yeah, it's really kind of important where you put the leg cutout and things like that. But, yeah, so on this one, I'm going to go ahead, instead of putting it right here at the posts where it is on this one really should be back here someplace, probably, for even better ergonomics. But, yeah, here what I'm going to do is, it should be, you want this to not be at the post, you want this to be back here, if that's the post line. Well, there are the posts there. That's the posts, there's the saddle line, and that's where the center of the leg cutout should be. So if this is going to go at 25, and that's the center of the cutout, and we want if you look at this thing, it's actually triangular in shape, and this is the flat side, and we want the flat side down on your legs, so it's going to go this way, even though it used to, yeah, that's right, it goes this way. Yeah, for a minute I was looking at it on the wrong side of the body, and it was going to go the other way, but yeah, it goes this way. So it goes this way, and it goes at a 25-degree angle, which is right about there, and it intersects the body there, and then you need enough room for a couple of screws, which would be like maybe something there and something like right where the corner of the shadow, something right here. They'd have to be about at least maybe 50 mil apart. If you get them too close together, then they're going to twist, and it won't be enough strength to support it. So yeah, I mean, the longer it is, the better, but you got problems with things being in the way. So yeah, it's still going to need a spacer. Maybe I should just put a spacer and do it that way. I mean, this one's basically got a spacer. So yeah, I guess why not? Put a spacer on and put it in the middle and just have a bunch of spacer blocks. And that way I can spread the screws out. And let's see, if the trim is sticking there, I guess the block could go all the way. Well, theoretically, the block could go up here, but that doesn't work at 25-degree angle. So, alright, if it's in the middle and it's at 25, then you have to go all the way down to like here. So it's going to mount someplace near the tail. And then it needs to be, so if it's going to mount there, alright, let me tape it there, and then I can figure out if this is going to be long enough. Okay, I've got it taped on temporarily with the back end is basically on the center line, and it's a 25-degree angle, and that point right there is where that mark was for the center of the leg cut out. Let's see what we get here. Alright, well, based on where the bridge is going to be and where your leg is, that's looking pretty good, because the center of the bridge is going to be like right about here, the tip of my finger. And as you can see, that's more or less right above the center of my leg here. Get the jacket out of the way. More or less right above the center of the leg, and the tape's already coming loose. So yeah, the angle and everything looks good in the position, but it looks like the bar is, get back on there, you. Looks like the bar is too short. Because you come over to this side now, yeah, so that's all looking good, but you come over to this end, and yeah, the bar is looking a little short. That's me with my legs just relaxed and kind of not spread out wide, but not holding them together, and yeah, the bar's too short. So it needs to come out to about, let's see, right now it comes to, if I can get the guitar set. Yeah, right now it comes to about here on my leg, and it needs to come out to about here. So, we're going to add, I don't know, we need something about 3 inches longer. What we can do is just measure this thing and figure out how long it should be. I've found that a lot of these bars seem to be clocking in at 18 inches, even though originally I was estimating 22 for the length of a bar. But see, yeah, this one's 18 and it's too short. So maybe I'll kick it up to like a 22, which would add another 4 inches. And yeah, like you saw, it needs another about 3 inches or maybe 4. So yeah, probably a 22 bar. I'll either fish something up if I got something like, is this 22? Hey. Oh. No, I don't think we're going to be using this piece of wood. Yeah, I had cut this for a bar for something, and then I discovered that it had this bad spot in it, so we won't be using that. Yeah, I guess what I'll do is I'll clean off the table saw and grab someplace in there. Oh, it's still on the table saw. Underneath that tap and die set is the 3/4 ply, or at least the smallest piece of 3/4 ply that I've been carving on recently. So yeah, so I'll just zap out a bar on that thing right quick, and then I guess for spacer I could just put a bar across here, or 3 little blocks, one of the two. What would be better, a bar or 3 little blocks? Maybe a bar. And then a block here. Or you could be slick and make like a triangle or something to raise it all up and have, you know, the one here and then the 3 holes here at this end of the triangle. But that adds more wood, and you don't really necessarily need to add more weight to the guitar. I mean, like right now, this thing has really, really nice balance. You know, I'm right here at like 23, and this thing is perfectly balanced. and that's with the lightweight tuners installed, and the bridge is not on yet, and that bridge is going to bring the tail in way heavier. But you see with the leg cut out where it's at, instead of being up here, that's going to keep the guitar pretty neutral, which will be nice. Yeah, see, normally the leg cutout would be up here around where the middle pickup is, and once you got that bridge in there, the whole thing would want to tip this way a bit, probably. But with the leg cut out here and the whole guitar shifted to the left a bit in relation to the player's body, everything should work out pretty good. And I'm also hearing a buzz from the power inverter, which means that it's time to go on the generator anyway. Works out good because you need the generator to run the table saw. So we're up to 20 minutes. I think that's going to do it for this one. And I'll see everybody in the next video. I'll dig out the table saw and get going on that. Until the next one, everybody, have a good one.